Hello there everybody, a very good morning to you all and welcome back to howtotrade.com. Welcome back to another live stream here in our trading room and in our on our social media channels as well. If you are around this morning, feel free to pop up and say hello. We're going to be looking today at a quick glance at the trend rider strategy like we do every single week. We're going to try and see if there are any opportunities out there right now for the trend rider strategy. So yeah, hopefully you guys can join in with that. It's a little bit of a quiet week, to be honest. There's not too much fundamental news this week. We did touch on the weekend yesterday. I know that today there isn't a great deal, but tomorrow things will be kicking off a little bit more. So we'll have lots to get stuck into tomorrow. But this is a great time to do a strategy stream because the trend rider strategy doesn't require you to have any fundamentals really. It just requires the market to be trending, which we'll see the sort of state we're at. It's just an update each week that I like to do for you guys because I know some people like to trade this strategy with me. Before I move on to the charts and all that sort of stuff, I said this yesterday, and I will say it every day this week because people tune in to different streams and whatever. This will be my last week streaming here at How to Trade. So I will be moving on to a new venture. I'm moving away from the country. I'll be moving out to Dubai in the new year. So yeah, I'm going to be I'm going to be moving on. So yeah, if I've got quite a few messages to work through. So yeah, I appreciate some of the very, very kind comments that have come my way. They haven't gone unnoticed, and it's been an absolute joy and pleasure to stream for all you guys and teach all you some new stuff and keep you updated every day with the markets. It really has been a pleasure to do that. This will be my last week of doing it, unfortunately. So yeah, Marty174, hello to you, good to see you, and I hope you are doing well today. So let's just quickly let's just go through this nice and quickly so you can see the fair value gaps we had marked yesterday. The one that I actually posted was on the pound versus the US dollar, and you can see that we did get up to a 1.7 or 1.8 to 1 risk versus reward. So if you did follow the risk reward strategy, the risk reward management rules that I had in the here, 1-to-1 close half and move to a more sensible stop loss. 2-to-1 close more and move your stop loss to entry and then sort of let it go. If you've done that, then you maybe probably would have broken even from that, depending on where you moved your stop loss. You might have had a little bit of profit, but yeah, not too bad. But we can now delete that because that's all been mitigated, all been filled. Euro dollar. If you did trade the euro dollar one, you would still be in that trade now. I did actually mention probably to trade the last one to be tested, and this looks like it was the last one to be tested. It was very close there, but I actually tested it here. So that's running at, that would have been running at 1-to-1. So again, another good one. USD versus the Swiss franc. Very unlucky not to be tagged in here. You can see that's was very close. Remove those drawings. That was a beautiful one on USD versus the Japanese yen. Aussie dollar. Actually, Aussie dollar here was a good opportunity to trade the inverse fair value gap. Now, what does that mean? That means that when we get the fair value gap, which is broken, we wait for the retest and then we go short. So we'd have gone short here after the break. Probably with a stop loss somewhere around there. And that would have been running okay. That's just a bonus analysis for you. Wow, look at that. Absolutely beautiful example of how you could trade an inverse fair value gap. That is absolutely textbook. So here was our FVG. The market traded through it. We broke above it. Tested it. Boom. So if you did manage to catch on that one, then you're doing very well indeed. And a similar sort of thing to the NZD USD as well. Okay, cool. And look at gold, by the way. I mean, we called that to perfection, right? We said we was waiting for that new, what's it called? We was waiting for that new lower high. Sorry, can't get my words out. And you can see that we was looking for that to be around the 61.8. Well, it sort of was. That was a huge candle down yesterday. Look at that. That actually wiped out nearly 3 days of downside. So yeah, I mean, for me now, it's about trying to target, this 2538 level, because for me, the momentum has shifted. There's our new lower low. There's our new lower high. Can we now print a new lower low down here? We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail tomorrow. I've realised I've gone way off topic here. And we actually need to be talking about the trend rider, don't we? So, let's delete all of that and let's get our moving averages on. I'm sure people are probably aware by now how we trade the trend rider. Hello to you, Curtin. Good to see you. So let's have a look. Right, okay. So we have a bearish crossover here on the pound. Oh, so that's a daily. My bad. Wow. Look how beautifully respected pretty much the whole way down that moving average has been. This is where you got to be careful. This is why I always say, always enter at the first test after the crossover, if that crossover has a the right parameters, i.e. a 0.3% gap or 30 pip gap or whatever. Now that happened here, so if you were in there, and then the market got a bit choppy, and then we had a fresh crossover there, and when we get that fresh crossover, that's our new sign to enter. So, last Monday, we could have gone short. Now I always put my stop loss 10 pips above. And you can see that'll be running at about 1-to-1 at the moment. Let me check the ADX indicator. It's on another screen. So you would have entered here. You can see the market came, crossed back above, and then back below. So around here, we'd have exited the trade as per the rules. So really nice. 0.8-to-1, with a 3% risk. You're talking about, nearly 3% profit, to at least 2% profit there off the back of that trend rider trade. So you can see how that works. Let's just click through the rest of them. Again, wouldn't be entering just yet because we haven't, you can see that we haven't had a fresh crossover. So I'm going to leave that one. USD versus the Swiss franc is not a great deal there, to be fair. Fresh crossover here on the USD yen. Actually a bearish crossover, but you can see that the market's in a sort of consolidation period. So let's wait for the market to make its move lower. Then those moving averages will sort of follow suit. And then hopefully we can get a nice entry somewhere down here if we can, if that's going to start to change momentum. So that's one to bookmark for the future. The Aussie dollar versus the US dollar, again, you can see there's not a great deal there. We're sort of in a period of consolidation. There's been a fresh crossover there, but there's, the gap just, we wouldn't trade that, of course, because we're being sensible, guys. We've had a fresh crossover here on the USD versus Canadian dollar, fresh bullish crossover. So at the moment, that gap is obviously still quite small between the EMAs. But if that continues higher, then I imagine that gap will expand. Then we can look to go long there. NZD USD, again, I think really there. So look at gold. Gold's a really interesting one because I imagine that people got maybe caught in the trap of going long here at this test. And I said to everyone last week, I said that there is a potential long opportunity coming up on the gold market as per the trend rider, but we knew that we were looking at some form of resistance coming in at around 2,700, and the reason we knew that is because we followed daily market structure, and that's why I do like to sort of, if I'm going to trade the trend rider, especially on the pairs which aren't necessarily built for the trend rider, because it is just Mario Singh built it as a forex strategy, but I've sort of adopted it a little bit. It's important to follow structure, and we knew, I've said this on numerous streams, that we were going to be we were bearish in structure when it came to gold. So there's a little bit of a trap there, but you can see we're just now getting a fresh bearish crossover. So I've definitely got my eyes on potentially going short here. Okay, fresh crossover here on silver, bearish crossover. Not quite got the gap big enough yet, so it's another one we'll have to keep our eyes on. Nothing really going for the Nasdaq, S&P 500. Okay, there's a potential opportunity here to go long on the S&P 500, pretty much where it is now. 0.46% gap. It's a little bit small, but this is a market which is very bullish in structure. Okay, yeah, that's a potential. We've actually need to be very quick if you want to enter this, because we've actually already had test there, test there, test there. So it's not the best entry in the world, but yeah, I'm going to keep that one marked. I might place that one myself, but just lower the risk a little bit, because the gap isn't massive. But I do like any excuse to really try and get involved here in the stock market. Another one as well that you've got here is the US 30, which is on an absolute tear up at the moment. We've still got that fair value gap, which sort of sits around that EMA 12 as well. So that could be a decent one. Euro yen, look at that. Bearish cross. Respecting that quite nicely as well. And the pound versus the Japanese yen as well, we can see probably missed the boat here a little bit, but definitely some potential more downside. This would maybe support our dollar yen trade that we're sort of shaping up right now. I'm just looking for, it looks to me like it's rolling over actually. Your dollar yen looks to me like it's rolling over. We don't trade oil on it anymore after many failed attempts. Okay, yeah, interesting. So I do quite like the look of that S&P 500 one. And I like the look of dollar yen, because we can see euro yen and pound yen respecting that bearish price action quite nicely. And there's potential for gold coming up as well. So what you have to remember is, when we're coming into a period of the year where, you know, things are a little bit quieter, people going away for Christmas, etc. The market's volatility tends to fall. With that, the chances of having a trending market can be less, and that puts strategies like the trend rider strategy into question, whether that's the right strategy to adopt at that time. And that's why I always say don't use it as your primary unless you're happy with sometimes not having a trade for like a month or 6 weeks. If you're happy with that, then that's fine. Because if you've got that patience in you, then it's fine. But if you're someone who likes to trade a little bit more than that, you like a bit more frequency in your trading, then that's why I sort of use it as a secondary strategy, because it's so easy to follow that I just sort of have it on the side of what I'd normally do, which is my sort of smart money stuff and my fib into smart money and market structure sort of thing. And yeah, that's a bit of a rundown on the trend rider at the moment. So not a massive array of opportunities, but there's a few. The S&P 500 is one, the gold market is potentially one, and the dollar yen is potentially one as well. So we'll just park that to one side for now, and then we'll next week. Oh no, I won't be here next week, but you can follow that all the way through. You don't need me to do that for you. I've taught you enough now on how you can follow that, but I'll be having a look at that to see if we can get any trades. Okay, right. It's early in the morning here, so I'm going to go grab myself a coffee, and I'm going to write my final article piece for how to trade. It's going to be on the Nasdaq, which is quite fitting, really. So yeah, if anyone does need me or wants to reach out, has any questions, I am still here, of course. Feel free to reach out. Until then, trade well, trade safe, and I'll see you soon.